Hello, Vincent.
Hello. Hi. How are you?
I'm well. Your audio isn't
Wait.
is a ropey.
Mine is it better or no?
No,
Is
you,
it
you,
better
you're cut it in
now? Yeah.
out.
Yeah. Sorry. Hold on. Let me come back again.
Mm-hmm. Hello, Vincent.
Hi. Can you hear me better? Hi, can you hear me
There's still
better?
some, but yeah, it's the same, I'm afraid.
It doesn't
But
sound
but
any
but keep,
better at all.
no, that it seems to be a little
Okay.
worse.
Okay. Let me try some. Let me try something else.
I should say something. Hello, Vincent again.
Hi. Is it better?
Yes, it
Okay.
is.
So you want to talk about pioneering and actually, yeah, we can talk about my experiences going out from door to door and making up bullshit for people to hear about. But, you know, I did hear them, they would, people were like, didn't you predict the end of the world like three times? And the answer is basically yes. So, okay, like now they try to cover up and say, well, we didn't really predict the end of the world. We more suggested that it was the end of an era or an end of. But the thing is that a lot of people believed that it was the end of the world, and this was very much spoken about, and nobody discouraged it. Nobody, like, uh, they published things that would lead people to believe the end of the world was coming, and then everybody was talking about the end of the world coming, and they never really said, well, let's slow down, that's not exactly what we mean. They just allowed people to believe what they wanted to believe, and people started, sold their houses, and people sold their businesses, and people did all different kinds of things to prepare for the end of the world, very seriously, and not like two people in the Jehovah's Witness movement, like, I don't know, like high percentages and percentages of people were just, not planting crops, not, not going to work and spending all the rest of their money on pioneering and going out and spreading the word and living in their fucking cars to do that. And, the thing is that it's interesting that you're interested in pioneering because, I mean, Jehovah's Witnesses now, they're still up there. When I was a child, the Watchtower magazine was the most printed. It was the second most printed magazine on Earth. The first most printed magazine on Earth when I was a child, or so I was told, unless this is totally wrong, but was TV Guide. Um, and the second most printed material on Earth was that of Jehovah's Witnesses. And that is how radically, fanatically evangelistic they are. And the guy who started it was either the world's most published preacher in his day or one of the world's, like, and when I say one, like either number two or number three, like not number 16. Like if he wasn't the, I think it's the, and actually I've heard it said the, but if from official sources, but in order not to be, uh, in order to be careful, I say he's either the or one of the, and his word was spread by his people like very far and wide, and
Sorry, who is this person? What
Charles Taze Russell, the guy who started the
yes.
Jehovah's guy who
Mm-hmm.
started the Jehovah's Witness, Charles Taze Russell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, the guy who started it, and he was very prolific, and his writings got in. He was a coast to coast syndicated columnist in America
Mm-hmm.
and even in Europe, and he wrote to Jews. You would be there's a book on. Go to bewiseserpents.blogspot.com and go to the section on Jehovah's Witness and go all the way down to the end. It's the last one that I put in. Unless I'm going to add something after this broadcast and you're listening to it later, and it is a book about Charles. It's by a guy named David Horowitz, Charles Taze Russell, America's first Zionist. He was he was. I have a whole blog on him also in this regard. He was the only. He was really the only major player creating the next new world religion that believed that Jews would return to Israel and remain Jews and stay Jews and live in Israel for the rest of time throughout the millennial kingdom. So the Jews
Mm-hmm.
loved him.
Yes, and because they were the only Christians who didn't want to convert them.
Hmm.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, he said that they should remain unconverted. And um, um, he said in his own writings, I saw that they would receive the blessing first. Now, Edith Starr Miller, let me get her name. I always say it wrong.
Um,
Um,
why did
um,
you why did you post the link in your um sorry, but post a link to what you just described on your blog?
I
The wise
can't.
serpents. Oh, you can't do that. Okay.
No, I can't do that right now because of the way, because I have to talk to you through Telegram and then I can't go into other programs. That's the only way that this
Mm-hmm.
audio will work. Um,
Mm-hmm.
um, bewiseserpents.blogspot.com. But Edith Starr Miller said that he was basically into them resurrecting the Sanhedrin and that they would basically be in charge. Now, Edith Starr Miller is not 100% reliable, um, but he was definitely, he wanted Israel to come back in, and he wanted Israel to be reestablished. He wanted the Jews to go there, remain Jews, receive God's blessing. And for this, he was very heavily funded by Jews. And he worked with Jews, and he wrote to the Rothschilds, and he was, he spoke crowds, thousands, not more than 2,000, 5,000, 7,000 Jews would come to the what is it called, the Hippodrome or whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
uh, um, to listen to him speak about Zionism, and he had Yiddish newspapers. Actually, if you go on that Be Wise as Serpents, everything is about his connection with Judaism, except for the first post, which is his connection to Freemasonry. But if you look on all those posts, you'll see how connected he was with Judaism, and I think that's one of the reasons why he was so widely published and so well known. I really think that the Jews helped him get somewhere, whereas they were not interested in helping the British Israelists get anywhere. They weren't helping the Freemason British Israelists or the Mormons or so much, or the Adventists as much, or even the Christian Scientists as much.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. So, on the question of pioneering, did you have to do classes, take classes to
No,
prepare
you
yourself?
learn in the field. So what you do is when you first start. Okay, so what happens is in the morning you go to a field service meeting. So this is
Mhm.
probably about a 15-minute meeting. You drive to the Kingdom Hall or you drive to someone's house and you all meet. So let's say that about, okay, a small group would be like, okay, a small group would only be like 4 people for one car. But like, let's say that you had like a small group would be 8 people, 2 cars, or more than that, 12 people, 3 cars. So you break up everybody into cars. Now the thing is that how this works is you are handed a territory. So once you say, okay, I'm going to go out in field service and start doing things. Okay, well you're asking about, okay, first starting. At first, you're not given your own territory. So someone who's more experienced has a territory, which is a certain road, and a certain number of houses in the road, and it's your duty to go to all those houses and distribute the literature. So someone has a territory, and they say, okay, let's go work my territory, and then you get in the car and you drive to that person's territory. Everyone drives to a different territory. Now, when you're first starting out, there are no classes. You just go to the door with someone else and listen, and you see how they interact, and then you start copying them, and then it's your turn. And I would do it, and yeah, I would definitely do it, and I did it quite a number of times, and you know, they're like, oh, what a nice young man, you know.
I bet that was fun. I suppose
Oh
it must have
God,
been.
no,
It
it was
wasn't.
no, it wasn't fun. It's not. It was never fun because lots of people don't want you there. You're going to a stranger's house, and it's just like there's always stress doing it because someone might get mad that you're there, and
And be rude to you.
yes, and then you have to deal with that, and then they might get like really aggressive and get really nasty.
Hmm. But you should be in sales because you probably have all the perfect training for the foot in the door salesman.
A little bit, yeah. When I was doing sales, I did it well, but there weren't enough people that wanted to buy anything, so I wasn't making any money, so I left.
What you mean, a sales job, or you're talking about Jehovah's Witness?
A sales job. I had no, my sales job was not very good. Hold on one
What
second.
what, what were you selling?
I was selling cell phones. Hold on one second.
Oh yes, we were talking
Chama,
about it.
Chama, can I eat? Okay. Yeah, I was selling cell phones, but there weren't enough sales to be made. It was just too shitty, and I didn't care about the job anymore, and I just started not doing the job, and I was scared of getting fired, so I just quit.
Hmm. But you you you'd be good at sales. I mean, that's kind of, you have a background in training for it, right?
Yeah.
I see. So, I mean, do you have any tips and tricks to tell people if you were still in Jehovah's Witnesses, uh, if you were still a witness, and you have all these young, eager faces looking up at you, hoping for advice on how to deal with potentially angry, impatient, rude people?
Um. Well. Oh, gee. Um. You know, they like they put on this very disarming air. Um. If the person gets up, it's just regular everyday psychology. Like if the person gets upset, become more calm, be really calm, and don't be rude back. And exude kindness and be, okay, thank you, say you're sorry, not sorry, but, just say thank you and, you
Mhm.
know, um, but just because someone becomes a little confrontational doesn't mean you have to leave. I mean, someone could be a little combative about doctrine, and it doesn't mean you have to pick up and leave. I mean, there's ways to deal with. Hmm,
Yeah, I guess some people do want a good argument. So, um,
yeah, and so with things like that, the thing is that they give you all these. I mean, Claire, this is, the thing is that so they actually have books how to deal with different doctrinal disputes. So they have a book called the Reasoning Book, and or at least that's what they used when I was a child. They change their books all the time.
that sounds
Um,
fun.
the Reasoning Book.
Yeah, yeah, it sounds like a book that would appeal to me. I'll put it
Yeah,
that
well,
way.
do you know what it is?
No, no, but I think it must be something to do with arguing with people who hate you.
It has to do. It gives you a bunch of scenarios of questions, typical questions that people have, or typical beliefs that people have, and how to combat that belief. And like there's a section on what did you if you meet a Buddhist or a Hindu or this or that, or what if they ask this question, or what if they ask that question, or what if they have this belief in the Bible, or what if they have that belief in the Bible, what do you say, what do you do?
Hmm. Fascinating. Could it be online?
Okay, let's say.
Yes, I'm looking now. I'm quite excited about it. You can buy it. Reasoning from the Scriptures.
Yeah, reasoning from the scriptures. um it look well, they have it online for free. The only thing that I would say, it looks like it's on jw.org.
Hmm.
um Although I don't see the whole book. Where is it? Reasoning from the
Oh,
scriptures. Um, I don't
it's got all
know.
these chapters.
You found a PDF?
Um, I found all these chapter headings like um, it goes from how to use reasoning from scriptures, introductions for use in the field ministry, how you might respond to potential conversation stoppers, abortion, Adam and Eve, Antichrist, apostasy, apostolic succession, Armageddon, Babylon the Great, baptism, Bible, birthday, blood, born again, confession, creation, cross, dates, death, dreams, drugs, earth, encouragement, evolution, faith, false prophets, fate, God, government, healing, heaven, hell, holidays, images, independence, Jehovah's Witnesses, Jesus Christ, Jews, kingdom, last days, life, marriage, Mary, Jesus' mother, Mass, memorial, Lord's evening meal, neutrality, New World Translation, organization, paradise, philosophy, prayer, prophecy, purgatory, races of mankind, ransom, rapture, reincarnation, religion, resurrection, return of Christ, Sabbath, saints, salvation, Satan, the devil, sex, sin, soul, spirit, spiritism, spirit of the world, suffering, tongue speaking in, Trinity, wickedness, women,
Uh,
world index, scriptures often misapplied. The end.
yeah. Um, you can see that they give you. Yeah, that was a book, and actually, it really is so essential that if you would send them in, if you would get a Bible, and you would get a reasoning book, and you would send it into them, they would sew them together into a single spine so that you had it in a single book.
Mhm. Hmm.
Hmm. Yeah.
And do you have advice about how to get into people's homes other
Um,
than knocking on their doors? I mean, what do you say to them to make them invite you in?
well, you offer them a home Bible study. I wouldn't recommend doing that, but You would recommend them a home Bible study, and then you would get into their home that way.
Hmm. My memory is that um, they invite you to discuss politics. They ask you what you think of the government, and when you know rant and rave about then they then they offer their Bible study classes. That's my memory anyway.
Well, yeah, they have magazines on all different types of topics, and they try to grab you with the topic you like.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Do you have any experiences you'd like to share with us when you were pioneering,
Hold
Vincent?
on. Mm, um, I was still quite young. No, that's not true. I did spend a lot of time out there doing things, and from between the ages of about 10 until the age of about 16, I did this. So it was about
Hmm.
6 years of experience. Um, okay, like nothing huge eventful, like nobody threatened to kill me, which has happened. Um, but yeah, it was my pioneering life was not eventful. It wasn't. I didn't quite enjoy it, and it was a little bit annoying. Um, and I don't think knocking on people's doors is very effective. I think it annoys them more than it does anything else. Um, um, I do believe as though being a Jehovah's Witness when I was younger made me too pushy in the way that I spread, excuse me, the way I spread my ideas. Um, um,
Hmm.
it made me too pushy, and now I take a slightly, I still write well, I write a lot now, but I let people find me rather than like imposing myself on people.
What do you think would have been a good way of um, you know, other than knocking on people's doors, what would be the best place to approach them in?
Um, make billboards, um, make advertisements in magazines, um, set up stands in the street or at fairs, that kind of thing.
Hmm. Are you supposed to be um, um, what's the word? Well, I mean, you're not supposed to drink at all. Are you supposed to avoid alcohol completely?
You can't get drunk.
Hmm. But you are allowed to drink.
Yes, you're allowed to drink, but not get drunk.
Okay, that's actually very sensible.
Yes, yeah, and drunkenness is no, and you could get disfellowship for drunkenness if you become an alcoholic, you get disfellowship. I know someone who got disfellowship for alcoholism. You also
You,
got you also got disfellowship if you smoke.
oh, yeah, it doesn't seem to be such a bad thing because people don't get intoxicated, although I suppose they can get addicted to their nicotine. No,
Yeah,
because I was thinking, maybe the pub would be a good place to, um, talk to people about religion.
I'm sure
What
that
do you
some
think?
Jehovah's Witnesses do it. Okay, like they're not exact. Okay, if you're a Jehovah's Witness, are you really? It's okay to go into a pub as a Jehovah's Witness. That's okay. It just you shouldn't really make it part of your lifestyle to be in a pub. You know what I mean?
But you could be saying, I'm doing the work of God. When I buy somebody a drink, I'm doing the work of God. I'm, spreading the message and all that. I mean, it's just something like flashed across my mind when you said you didn't think knocking on people's doors was a good idea because people get annoyed. But if you kind of meet them casually and the people are in a mood to talk to strangers in a pub, you might get further. You might get further in your proselytizing. Has nobody suggested that, or has it been tried?
I don't think that would be encouraged. I don't think that would be encouraged at all.
Because it might lead to alcoholism amongst Jehovah's Witnesses, I suppose.
Because it's a little bit of a volatile situation. Because even if you're not drunk, the other person might be drunk.
You sound a bit distant.
No, the thing is that it's a bit volatile because even if you're not drunk, the other person might be drunk, and so
Yes.
I think that it's best. It's best. Oh, I can put this. I can put the links in the comments. Oh, why can't I? Oh God, never mind.
Well, I don't know. The thing is, I'm thinking of publicans who might think, oh, I'd like a bit more business. People don't seem to be coming into the pub, to my bar as much as they used to.
You know what I really want
They
to
could do a
do?
deal with Jehovah's Witnesses
Do you know what
and help run over the Muslims.
But you know what I want to do? I want to start. I mean, like, I actually want to make a cafe called Noah Height Cafe, but it has all these like, it goes. I want to have books on like Jehovah's Witness, Mormon, Islam, like all these different kinds of things. And the point is to go in and like discuss not just Noah Height law, but all the stuff surrounding it and all these like weird. That's the central hub. It's the name of it, but it's more like just a place, I don't know, discuss politics and religion, but I guess they don't. I don't know if that would work. And you could sell coffee and wine and stuff like that in order to, and you could have like
I mean, the
long.
pubs can do it themselves. I mean, in the UK we have things like quiz night, which is such a bore when you just want to talk and everybody's looking at you saying shush, they can't hear whoever. I mean, there'll be oh, they do other things as well. I mean, that's meant to be sociable, and and I know certain pubs aren't, many pubs aren't doing so well. So it could be a sociable thing, like, on Thursdays we're going to be discussing religion and politics, or just religion, or something of that nature, and so people can go with a kind of expectation. Ooh, I'm going to have a political discussion about, or religious discussion, and I don't know, mock the Muslims for missing out or something. I mean, I'm quite keen on saving the British pub, but because quite a few of them are closing down because they just keep putting up the cost and making it more difficult for pubs to survive. And they are the places where people can just meet and talk to each other. And I know that there are certain pub traditions now, quiz night. But there could be other games. It could be, parlor game night or something. I mean, there are things like, state night.
Let me look at something. I found a guide. Wait, hold on. Family life, respect for life, employment and money, recreation, entertainment, blood. Okay, if you would like to know, here, wait, I found, actually, I want this PDF. I found a PDF. I'm going to send it to you in, I'm going to send
By
it to
email.
you. No, I just sent it to you in Telegram.
Okay.
It's research. It basically looks like a PDF of their doctrines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it seems like a PDF of their doctrines.
It seems like a big document. Oh.
Yeah, it does. And, hold on. Let me just save this for myself.
Well, it's 7.9 megabytes.
Yeah, but it's also just not regular paper.
Mhm.
Where is it? Science and technology.
What do you think? I mean, I think I'd go to the pub if they were talking religion and politics, you know? What do you think of this idea as a pub idea?
Yeah, well, I think maybe if there was a focus to it. I want a pub called
You'd go
Camp.
along, wouldn't you? You'd go along. I mean, I think there has to be somebody kind of managing the people, or they might start getting violent or something.
Oh, Claire, this is not what I thought it was. This PDF is not what I thought it was. I thought it was some kind of.
Okay, I'll just close it then. There's a bit much. There's quite a lot of it.
Mm, oh gosh, but yeah. I mean, I think that Jehovah's Witnesses should. If I were in charge, I would modernize and I would put up billboards, and I would work more on getting popularizing the magazine because in most countries they give it out for free. So probably what I would do is I wouldn't make it more entertaining, and then I'm not going to bring rock band. I'm not going to put rock bands on the cover, but make it a little bit more glossy. Maybe not glossy, and I wouldn't want it to look cheap and chintzy, but I would want it to look nice and maybe a little bit more flavorful, and just give it out for free.
Hmm.
Just hand you're giving it out for free anyway, so well, just give it out for free, but try to spread your thing, and or you know whatever, get it out in the street. But or also I would send it in the mail. I don't have problems mailing people out postcards. What's wrong with that? I mean, mail out a postcard, and
Hmm.
just have your website, and but just even in the old days, people, in Nazi Germany, one of the complaints that they made about them, was one. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but yeah, it did matter that they went to your door. People, Nazi citizens, were complaining about Jehovah's Witnesses being invasive, and going to their doors and things like that, and how they felt it was uncomfortable. It's always been, even in olden times, that practice has always been something that people disapprove of, and gives them a really bad name, and it's all they're known for, and people don't know anything else about them except for that they're the annoying people that come to your door, and I think that scares people away.
Sorry, what scares people away?
Like going to their door, going to their house, knocking on their door.
Oh, you mean it's scary for the person knocking?
No, it's scary for the people. They don't. No, I'm saying they don't. Well, for both, but the thing is that people have always complained about that Jehovah's Witnesses come to their door and they don't like it.
Well, which is why I was saying, you know, you see, if the pub's got a cut of all this, then it's like, welcome, welcome, Jehovah's Witnesses. It seems a lot of our patrons would like a religious discussion, and, you know, um, they could do a deal, and then the thing could take off, couldn't it? Because, maybe a lot of people do want a discussion about morality and politics, and in a controlled situation where things don't get crazy and they don't have to go to some weird place, to some weird meeting. It's just, oh, I'm just going to my local pub. Oh, and what did I see there? It was Jehovah's Witness night. Perhaps next week it'll be Catholic night, or Episcopalian night, or whatever,
Yeah,
Muslim night.
that's what I wanted to do, but I can't ask my husband do that with me. That, that's too much.
Oh, no, I meant you don't have to personally do it. It's sort of, you get the Jehovah's Witness. Oh, no, you just get your local pub. Like, do you want more custom? Do you think this might work better than your stupid, boring quiz nights?
Yeah,
Do you
I
have quiz
know.
nights in America?
No, where? At
In
bars?
the pub?
Not
Uh, you
really.
know, okay, that's what we have. I think it's so boring and I hate it. And I was just thinking that there's so many more fun things that would bring these pubs more custom. Um, I don't know. I like the idea of dating night. Even it's like, I can think of parlor games to get people to play as an icebreaker or something. So, what I'm suggesting is that, Jehovah's Witnesses, or I don't know, the Catholic Church, or whatever, it's like we need more recruits, and well, we'd like well, actually, what they could do is like we want to hire a function room. We have function rooms in pubs, so you can hire a special room, and sometimes they give it to you free if they know that the custom that you bring will cover the cost of the hire of the room. If they think lots of people will come, they'll give it to you for free because the people you bring will cover the cost of sending somebody up to dispense drinks and be the barman and all that. And um yeah, and then people might just congregate and talk about politics and religion.
Yeah, I know. Like, I was thinking even you set up the tables in such a way that people are all facing each other, and there's like kind of like a communal table, long communal table, and people are supposed to sit and discuss politics. And the thing is that there could be a book list, and when the waitress comes up, you can ask for a certain book to look at with your coffee or your wine or whatever, what I mean, some kind of wine bar, and then you can discuss. And I thought there would be esoteric books on Freemasonry, different kinds of interesting things, and
Yeah, yeah. The thing is, I mean, if you're thinking of setting up your own cafe, it's going to be high maintenance because you've got to, do all the things that are involved in, excuse me, setting up a cafe. But if you're just approaching, some hostelry that's already established, where everything's, ready, your tables and drinks and food and whatever, then it's easy to set up.
um, I did think of a lounge called the Anti-Mason, and the point of this to go in and be anti-Freemason, because there is a market for that. And I
You'll have
think
to dress it up onto something less alienating, I suppose.
no, I think Anti-Mason is perfect.
Okay.
No, we want to get the discussion red hot.
Hmm. Well, I imagine the publican would, want to make it seem friendlier and more inclusive in order to get more customers.
Well, yes, but I mean, there's not that many Masons, and also I think there's more anti-Masons than there are Masons. Is definitely for true. And anti-Mason is might be more drawing in and shocking than Noahide Cafe. You know what I mean?
Well, I suppose if I were American, I'd be, wanting to talk about the Constitution. And,
Well, yeah. Well, you could talk about. Well, who knows what you could talk about, but I don't know, Claire. I think that these ideas are a little bit too good for the public, to be honest with you.
I mean, do you have a pub that you go to regularly? Where,
No, I
oh,
have no, I have no pub I go to.
yeah, where everybody knows your name, like in
No,
Cheers. Hmm.
no, there's nothing like that. There's nothing like that. I mean, I don't think people go to pubs anymore. I never hear anyone like, "Oh, I'm popping into the pub." You know what I mean? Like, I don't
Hmm.
think like, I don't even see it like, I don't know, in like movies anymore. I don't know. Like, I feel as though pub culture is really dead. And but at the same time, I'm kind of glad because that was very shallow culture. I think that the thing is that we're becoming more like politicized, and I think that people are becoming more serious minded. And I think that, back in the day, like in my father's day, pub culture was the culture. You were down at the bar all the time, hanging out with all your friends and having a good time, and that was about it. And life was easy, and a circus, and that kind of fun stuff. But whatever. And I mean, now it's time to kind of move on and think about something a little bit more serious. And
But yeah, but you still need a place to gather people to hear your message. That is my point.
yeah, well, I maybe have, I don't know, some kind of, I don't know, yeah, to hear your point and get into, well, yeah, I mean, it might be easier. I mean, might be easier to set up many cafes, like, and like you could have a Christian Science cafe and a Jehovah's Witness cafe where you go to, learn about their way of doing things, and that, and you know
Yeah, you're talking about cafes. I was reminded of. I mean, there was a time when there was this thing called a death cafe, and
yeah,
you just go to this cafe and you talk about death, but on a special day, I imagine. So this might be something to. Uh, yes, welcome to Death Cafe.
Death Cafe. The
Yes, at Death
oh
Cafe,
oh,
people
I
gather
don't think
with
I've
catering.
never spoken to you about the Process Church. Have you heard of the Process Church?
No, what's that?
Oh, you would love the Process Church. So, the Process Church is no longer functional except for people who try to copy it, and there's only like two of them, and they do a bad job at it. Um, it started in England. Actually, I want to find, there was a really good documentary on the Process Church that I saw that I would like to send you. But the Process Church started in England, and they started out as Scientologists. There was a duo, a boyfriend and a girlfriend. I don't know if they became husband and wife later, but they broke away from Scientology, and but kept using e-meters and developed their own kind of like psychological cults of like,
What, your own
whatever
psychological what?
cult. It was
Uh-huh.
like a psychological cult, and they named it the Process, and then they got all these followers, and then they traveled to South America and starved, and then came back and opened up a cafe in London, and then they were spreading across America, and they mixed like Jesus and Lucifer and Satan together, and they were really kind of like popular. They weren't popular in that they had a lot of members, but they were well known, and they weren't disliked. Um, yeah, you should look up the Process Church. I don't think they're suitable. I don't think they're like suitable as like anyone to copy. I mean, they were kind of just like, it was like a psychology cult or something like that, and
Hmm.
it was it was a break off of Scientology, but then it got really weird after a while, and but they did start in England. She was from Scotland, and there's some interesting things about them.
Mm.
And there's no more processed church or anything like
How do you
that.
spell it?
Process, like process church, like a
Oh, right,
process. The process. It was,
right.
the process was the psychology that you went through. I mean, you might like it, Claire. You could start psychology night. I mean, you should start secular Quranism classes.
Process Church of the Final Judgment. Hmm.
Oh, process church is the final judgment. Yeah, and
It's a British thing as well, apparently.
it's what?
It's a British thing.
Yeah, I told you they came from England.
Oh, okay, okay. I didn't get that bit. You have a question in the chat.
What is it? I can't say.
Um, does Vincent know Kurt Metzger?
What does it say?
Well, Metzger is apparently a Jehovah's Witness, so that's a question being asked of you.
What's the question? What is it? What is the
Does
question?
Vincent know Kurt Metzger? M E
How do I?
T Z J E R. He's a Jehovah's Witness.
No, I've never heard of him.
No,
I've never heard. I don't really travel in their circles or listen to them. They're quite boring, and they're just. I mean, they're trying to get you out of the political world, and they're trying to just kind of turn you into this blob,
he's a
observing.
comedian.
Yeah, there's some Jehovah's Witnesses that borderline on what's acceptable, like becoming a comedian or something like that. I think that would be frowned upon. You know,
He's 46 and quite attractive.
you're looking him up.
Yes, I posted the link, his Wikipedia link in the chat, in case you
And
want to
it
look.
it says he's Jehovah's Witness.
Hmm. He won an Emmy Award and a Peabody Award for his work on the television series Inside Amy Schumer. I don't know what that's about.
Oh
In
God,
fact,
what's
he was
about?
raised in New Jersey.
You know what? This sounds like. You know what? I It's very annoying when I do get very pissed because most Jehovah's Witness children would be discouraged from doing something like that, and then they have these few of them that they allow to do these kinds of things. Like you're really not supposed to be in show business. Amy Schumer show is fucking as worldly as what they call it worldly, sex, drugs, rock and roll, as
Hmm.
anything else. So he really shouldn't be involved in that. And it's annoying that it's just annoying. I mean, that's about as far as they go in breaking their rules. Like that's like, I mean, if that's like really living on the edge as a Jehovah's Witness would be being a comedian. That's like, you know, whoa, like he wouldn't be considered a very spiritual person. Probably like people would look down on him.
Hmm. He would be considered a good example in the amongst witnesses.
No, he wouldn't be considered a good example.
He's appeared on the Joe Rogan Experience.
Yeah, he wouldn't be considered a good example. He really shouldn't be dealing with that kind of world, entertainment world. It's just not a place that a Jehovah's Witness, technically should be in. And yeah, they're hypocrites, and they're enjoying a life of fame when they know very much that the average Jehovah's Witness child is denied that. I mean, there's plenty of really talented Jehovah's Witness children that never became famous because they were denied, the ability to do that because of, their parents didn't want them doing that, so they kept them away from that. And
Hmm.
it's disgusting. I'm against them, and you know, and then they're traveling in these, the entertainment circles are all pro gay. I mean, if he must be, it's just the environment would be bad. I mean, they always say, oh, Hollywood is so bad, and all the movies that Hollywood makes are bad. You don't really want to be involved in Hollywood. I mean, the average Jehovah's Witness is involved in some boring ass shit job. You know what I mean? Like, just something that doesn't um really lead to any kind of um great wealth or great fame or anything that's going to take up a lot of your time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because you have to spend that in 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 the field pioneering and bringing people in. And
Mm-hmm.
it is a hard lifestyle for as much as they bring in. I mean, for as much energy as they put into spreading their word, they don't really grow very fast. When I was when I was a child, actually maybe they did grow pretty fast because when I was a
I did
child,
read that the attrition rate of Jehovah's Witnesses is quite high. In the sense that a lot of people join and then they fall out of it.
yeah, a lot of people do that. They say there's more ex Jehovah's Witnesses than there are Jehovah's Witnesses. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
that's true, but um, it's a hard lifestyle to keep up. I mean, it's a hard lifestyle to keep up, and they have weird doctrines and stuff like that, and different kinds of problems in their history. Their history is really, really fucked up and so obviously scam riddled and, lots of just scammy. They have a really scammy history and
Tell us more.
they just tried to hide predicting the end of the world. They tried to hide all these weird doctrinal changes and the fact that they've changed their mind 5,000 times and
Have they
um
changed their names?
no,
Sorry, I didn't
yeah,
know that.
yeah, they used to be Bible students and then they became Jehovah's Witnesses and they just it's not 100% a stable doctrine. I mean, it's stable enough in that there was congruency throughout all of its time period in history,
Mm-hmm.
but little things would change and here and there, and um, they would call it old light. When I was young, it was called old light, meaning it was just an old teaching that they weren't correct on, and they have to kind of fix themselves, and it's just very like scammy. And then the president after the first one, Joseph Rutherford, was like an alcoholic and stole the money and built himself a mansion and was really like crooked, and he wasn't even really a judge. He just called himself a judge. You have to go. Is that your
No, no, I don't have to answer that one.
there was a judge, like he wasn't really a judge and he went to jail and all this other kind of stuff. Though he went to jail previously, but he went to jail for um the Jehovah's Witnesses always like use this as like their victims, their martyrs, because they were anti-war and supposedly he was telling people not to get involved in war, and the government didn't like that, so they jailed him, and
Mm-hmm.
it was like this big thing. It's just like, oh, they jailed the founders of the Jehovah's Witnesses, blah blah blah,
Mm-hmm.
and
Hmm.
and they idealize everything about these people, and they kind of like put anything negative under the rug. They're just, they can't stand criticism. They don't like being criticized, and
Hmm.
any criticism is just very problematic for them.
Right. Hmm. So I was reading here about how to um, respond to conversation stoppers, such as "I'm not interested," and then it tells you what to say in response. Do you, what would you say in response?
Why not? I don't know.
Okay,
I
okay, okay. So I'll just read a paragraph of the suggested. So you can say, "May I ask, do you mean that you're not interested in the Bible, or is it religion in general that does not interest you? I ask that because we have met many who at one time were religious but no longer go to church because they see so much hypocrisy in the churches, or they feel that religion is just another money making business, or they do not approve of religion's involvement in politics. The Bible does not approve of such practices either, and it provides the only basis on which we can look to the future with confidence."
Yeah, these corny, stupid little, you know what I mean? Oh, it's a blah 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 blah. You know, they like, you know, some of it is dumb. I mean, like, I don't know. Some of it is just like, but yeah, I mean, you're supposed to try to like find a way, and like some of them would be overly pushy about it, like not taking no for a fucking answer, where it's like I would just take it right away. And if they were not interested, I wouldn't really push. But, other people, like,
Shall I read
would,
you another one?
yeah, sure.
If you mean that you are not interested in another religion, I can understand that. But more than likely, you are interested in what kind of future we can expect in view of the threat of nuclear war, or how we can safeguard our children against drug abuse, or what can be done about crime so that we won't have to be afraid to walk the streets. Can you see any prospect for a real solution?
Yeah,
It's
how dare they talk? How dare they talk about real solutions? Because their whole fucking solution is to just escape the world. I mean, so their whole thing is that if everyone became a Jehovah's Witness, there would be no fucking war and shit. And that's their whole solution. But they know very well the whole world's not becoming Jehovah's Witness. So that's why they say, oh, we have to rely on Jehovah in order to bring an end to all this.
I'll read another one. Okay, it says, "Is that because you already have a religion? Tell me, do you think we will ever see a time when everyone belongs to the same religion? What seems to stand in the way? For it to be meaningful, what sort of foundation would be needed?"
Oh, that sounds like the Noahide laws. um, hold on one second. Hold on one second. Chamo, second to last. We're almost done. Second to last pastina, and then I only have. Okay. Okay. Um. Yeah. Well, that sounded like the Noahide laws to me, but Um, yeah, I mean, they have no hope. They don't ever say like Jehovah's Witnesses. Actually, it's not. It would be anti the religion. Jehovah's Witnesses don't believe that the Jehovah's Witness religion is going to take over the world and make the world a peaceful paradise. That's not what they believe. They believe that in the end, they're going to remain this small sect of true believers, and that they'll be the only ones who survive Armageddon. But God is supposed to come in and fix everything. This is like, what is the solution? You don't have the solution. Your solution is God is going to come in and fix everything. That's not a solution.
I mean, in a way, this is what the Jews, Christians, and Muslims think. It's like everything's so terrible. It's so bad that Jesus must be about to come and the world about to end. And they all think like that. And in a way, you kind of think, oh, um, you can't even frighten them about the prospect of nuclear war because they actually want the world to end.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, they do, and it's just, they look forward to it, and of course, my mother used to get all excited whenever horrible things were happening. The end is near. You know what I mean? Like this,
The
like
end is nigh.
yes, like cheering. You know what I mean? Cheering.
Accelerationism.
Yeah, well, but they're not actually doing anything to make it happening. At least Christian Zionists or whatever they are, these people that are waiting for the end times, they're at least pushing for it. Whereas Jehovah's Witnesses are just sitting on their ass, letting other people run the show for them, and who are not doing anything.
Hmm. Yeah.
So they're boring. I can't believe. Where did you find the PDF of reasoning in the scriptures? Is that what you found?
No, I'll post it in the link. I mean, in the chat. It's just a web page. So I'll read the next one, I suppose.
Oh wait, hold on.
I,
Wait, hold on. I might have found one. Hold on. I might have found a PDF. Hold on. Let me just see something. Oh no, it's not a PDF. It's not a PDF. It's yeah, yeah. Bible translation. Yeah, go ahead.
okay, so you would say if somebody says I'm not interested, then the Jehovah's Witnesses would say I can appreciate that. A few years ago, I felt the same way, but I read something in the Bible that helped me to view matters in a different light. Show the person what it was. Next conversation ploy. Would you be interested if I could show you from the Bible how you could see your dead loved ones again, or what the real purpose of life is, or how it can help us to keep our families united?
Yeah, these are like this. A lot of this is corny shit. I mean, I think what's really important is like the things like hell and all the different uh, all the different doctrinal kinds of things, and
Mhm.
disputing other people's religions and stuff like that, which they do an okay job at it. I mean, it's not the worst.
I'm also tempted to become a Jehovah's Witness now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, go search them out and study them, and you know what I mean. I don't know what books they're studying these days, or how corny or boring they're getting. Um, I don't know. They seem to hold pretty fast. To be honest with you, I can't say because their whole thing is staying, away from the world. So it's harder for them to kind of start being hypocrites, and they do disfellowship you. They don't tolerate crime, so-called thought crime in the church. They don't tolerate it. I mean, they don't. And like I told you, they have inactive lists. I mean, if you're not going to if you're not going to Kingdom Hall all the time, you're kind of like being on an inactive list is not called public reproof, but it's a way to put other people on notice that you're not spiritually very fit to be around. And other Jehovah's Witnesses will be like, "Oh, she's on the inactive list." You know what I mean? You know, and
Did
will be
they say that
encouraged.
about your mum?
No, they didn't because my mother never went inactive. But you know, there would be things like they would sit around and talk about like, oh, so and so has gone inactive. We should go pay a visit to her and try to get her to come back. And or like, you know, if you're not going out in field service, they'll kind of try to chide you into going out in field service and stuff like that. And so, you know, being inactive is kind of like a like, you know, oh no, you know, you're on warning.
Yes, right. It's like this Jack Mormon thing you were telling me about.
Yeah, Jack Mormon. I mean, it's harder to be a Jack Jehovah's Witness. There is no, you know, it's much harder. I mean, actually, the Mormon Church. Well, you know, the Mormon Church still hands out letters of letters of uh, excommunication. You know, it's
Oh.
yeah, it does. It hands out letters of excommunication, but it's willy nilly. Like I love that. I love watching Real Housewives of Salt Lake City because it shows modern Mormon culture, which is changing and becoming more liberal. And they sent some of the people got excommunication letters, but some didn't. And one of them, she's a Mormon. She's not excommunicated, but she's a booze baroness. Her and her husband are booze barons, and they do nothing but sell alcohol. And they're not excommunicated from the church. Meanwhile, a man on the show got excommunicated because he left his wife for another woman, and he got excommunicated.
I suppose a booze baron made large donations or something.
And she's loyal, and like on the show she kind of defends the church, and she talks well about the church on the show, and
Mhm.
and so you know, she's kind of like a booze baroness, and yeah, probably pays her tithes. You know what I mean? She seems like the type that pays her tithes. You know, strikes me weird. She's a Mormon and she's getting plastic surgery, or at least a certain degree of it, and you know, she's doing the whole worldly thing and dressing in very flashy clothing and stuff like that, and you know, being involved in a worldly lifestyle, even though she's Mormon.
Mhm.
But I don't know why they are more so than Jehovah's Witnesses or like Seventh Day Adventists, why they're going mainstream. But you know, or even Christian Science. The Christian Science is getting better about medicine now, I heard.
Mhm.
You know, Christian Science is more lenient about medicine than it used to be. Ready? Is more lenient about medicine than it used to be. But you know, I wouldn't. I mean, you wouldn't consider that selling out. But no, I think the Mormons are selling out more than Jehovah's Witnesses or Seventh Day Adventists are.
Mhm. Mhm. Hmm.
And I think, yeah, Mormons have this idea of a Jack Mormon. You know what I mean?
So, would you say Mormonism is your preferred creator cult religion? Because you seem quite impressed by Mormonism with its physical garb than with Jehovah's Witness.
Well, yes, I do like. Actually, wait, hold on, Claire. Just give me 1 second. I just
Mhm.
gotta use the bathroom. Yes, I am impressed with the Mormon golf.
Mhm.
Huh? Oh yeah. Um, Tama. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just smoking.
Mm-hmm. Gosh, Mr. Pelu is being requested
He's here?
by
Everyone's been requesting Mr. Pello, but you know the last time he was on, he just said he couldn't tolerate me, like I was so demonic, and he had to leave.
well, you are quite satanic in your own little way. Well, I should be able to find it quite easily because I timestamp my streams.
No, I don't know. Well, he came on my stream. He came on my stream. I had a show with him, Mr. Pello. I did.
Oh, right. Was it recently?
Maybe a month ago.
Mm-hmm. What did you talk about?
We talked about Islam. I can't remember everything that we talked about, but Mr. Pello. But now he just, I'm too much for him. He really can't tolerate me anymore. He can't tolerate me. I actually have a book
Oh, I
here.
found one for Dr. Mengele.
I have a book here that I would send you, Claire, on Jehovah's Witnesses. It's their
Okay.
cult. It's their cult background. It's anti Jehovah's Witness material. This would be like the dirt on them. You know what I mean? Like the dirty dirt.
Mm-hmm.
And this might be more up my alley. I mean, you probably want to learn more about, doctrine. I'm interested in doctrine. I'm not interested in, theology or whatever.
Yeah.
Doctrine, what is this? Oh. Yeah, so my birds my birds are fighting. Sometimes they fight. They're like children.
Do they hurt each other much?
No, not much. Well, the canaries are a little bit more feisty than the society finches are, the finches are. So we have one, he's a little disabled, I told you. He can't really, he's a little disabled.
What's his name again?
Chinito.
Chinito, right.
Chinito is a little disabled. Yeah, so I have to find, I have so much more research to post on. Oh, so the thing about Charles Taze Russell, just another thing I want to bring up about him, is go to noahidepyramidology.blogspot.com. And that was, so anyone who was related to Freemasonry became interested in pyramidology. So the Seventh-day Adventists, the Jehovah's Witnesses, the Christian Science, the Mormons, and the Freemasons were all pyramidologists. And the only thing that made him different from the rest of the pyramidologists is that he basically wasn't supporting British Israelism. The Adventists weren't either, it seems. But the Mormons and the Christian Scientists and the Freemasons were all supporting British Israelism, the idea that Britain were the 10 lost tribes of Israel, and that, the Jews would be restored to Israel under their dominion, but that the Jews would eventually become Christians. And the Jews didn't seem to want anything to do with this, and they called British Israelist pyramidology bizarre. But the thing is that Charles Taze Russell, his wasn't British Israelist. and they loved him. So learn a lot about pyramidology. And the thing that's good about pyramidology is that it shows pyramidology, or no, it shows that British Israelism was an attempt by Freemasonry to rule the world, the British Empire to rule the world with the Jews. And it showed the high frequency of Freemasons in the movement, and how many books were published within Freemasonry about Freemasonry and pyramidology and British Israelism. So I have about 75 pieces of evidence up there, and I have another 200 that I need to sift through, and I'm overwhelmed with absolute the amount of writing that I have to do on that. But yeah, so and I also want to bring up, another one that got involved. So this pyramidology was involved in lots of other things, but the other Freemason connected is the Worldwide Church of God under Herbert Armstrong. And I have the armstrongcult.blogspot.com, which is about him and his church and their break with Freemasonry and how they became anti-Freemason after, basically absorbing probably Jehovah's Witness stuff. But also it was in, who also was the Pentecostals got into pyramidology by way of Charles Taze Russell. And there were, there were other things. The Ku Klux Klan was actually influenced likely by Freemason pyramidology. And so it got racist. There were racist Freemasons that were anti-Jewish, that were pyramidologists. There were Freemasons that were, most Freemasons, there was only one real, David Davidson was a Freemason who was semi-anti-Jewish racist, believing that, the white Anglo-Saxon people were the best. And he influenced Christian identity. Christian identity is into pyramidology. Lots of different kinds of cults got involved in pyramidology. Pseudoscience, really kind of nonsense when you get down to the crux of it. It's all just garbage and was constantly changing and, wasn't really a science at all. Some science in it, in its geometry and discussion of geometry and stuff like that. But that was just, interesting facts like ratios that exist everywhere and things like that are, I could see that part of pyramidology having a something to say, but the rest of it was all just nonsensical biblical nonsense. And this all went back to Newton. Newton created the sacred cubit, which he said was used to create the pyramid, and that using that sacred cubit to measure out the pyramid, you can make prophecies. And he is the father of all this. And my contention is that pyramidology disappeared for a while between him and 1859 with the publication of something by John Taylor, some book on pyramidology, which relaunched pyramidology. And I'm saying, well, where was he picking it up? He got it from Newton, but was there any in between Freemason study of Newton's pyramidology? So, I mean, the thing is that I'm really interested in it. The thing is that the reason I'm so fascinated with pyramidology is personal, because so I was always under the influence that Jehovah's Witnesses came directly out of Freemasonry, and I always used the pyramidology as an example of it. And after reading The Watchtower and the Masons by Fritz Springmeier, which is on bewiseserpents.blogspot.com, I came to realize that he was an anti-Mason who just stole from Freemasonry. He stole ideas from Freemasonry, but he made his own religion, which I would say was almost anti-Mason. And that's why he was anti the British Empire, British Anglo-American Empire that was trying to take over the world. Even though he was in league with the Jews, he was not in league with the Masons. But he did share his pyramidology with Freemasonry. And And, I kind of wanted to unravel how closely my childhood was linked to Freemasonry and everything I had to go to. And it does appear as though it was quite something, in that he denounced it, and he was never a Mason, and he did denounce it, but he stole from it ideologically. A lot of it's kind of ideas and things like that. And he did say that his organization was organized like a secret society, like Freemasonry, and he used the word like Freemasonry. So yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you might actually be interested. Actually, did you see I have a whole series on Jehovah's Witnesses. If you want, Claire, I did post it on YouTube. If you want, we could do like well, I don't know how interested you are in their history versus their current presentation. I don't know what you're interested in, really.
Are you talking about the Jehovah's Witnesses?
Yes.
I'm quite interested.
Are you interested in like their like fraudulent, juicy history, or are you interested?
Yes.
Yes. Well, we could, if you want, we could do not today, but if we met in the morning, we could do like a marathon and on your channel, and we could watch. Oh, you don't like him though.
Who?
Billy Crone.
No. He's so vulgar.
I know. And corny and all this other kind of stuff. But he wrote the book that I said I would send you, because I bought his CDs. So I have his CDs. Okay, if you are ever interested to watch them, I have Mormon, Christian Science, Jehovah's Witness, and Seventh-day Adventist. I have all the CDs, and I have the book on Jehovah's Witness. We could watch this. We could watch them if you're ever interested. We could watch like one a day, or we could watch them all just to get them out of the way in one day. We could do a marathon.
About the juicy scandals of Jehovah's Witnesses?
Jehovah's Witnesses, Mormons, Christian Science, and Seventh-day Adventists. Yes. If you want to get red pilled, and if you want to get red pilled in the cults, then
well, I'm already against them. That's why I'm promoting secular Quranism. I wish Americans would be better protected from charlatans and cult leaders. And they might as well have their own state religion, and that would be secular Quranism with American characteristics. So they don't get fooled into all kinds of weird, cults.
Hold on, let me say. Yeah, so this would be about. Okay, so they're about 40 to 45 minutes each. So, actually, Claire, I did a whole thing. I showed all these videos and read The Watchtower and the Masons, and read him and Zionism by David Horowitz on my channel. If you look for the Jehovah's Witness section, I do have all this up. But we could also show it on your channel. We could okay, so this is 8 studies. They're about 40 minutes. I think it would be best to just get it all done, and we could watch for 40 minutes and discuss for 20 minutes, and then watch for 40 minutes and discuss for 20 minutes. And we could do do you want to do that or no?
No, but well, I think I'll be a bit busy for a bit, so I'm also familiar with him, perhaps too familiar with him.
You're too familiar.
Well, with Crone, Jimmy Crone.
Oh, yes, you don't like him. That's right. Okay, so we don't have to do it. So I'll find some other way to red pill you.
I think
Maybe.
people prefer to listen to us talk about things anyway, rather than watch somebody else. And
Okay.
you've already done it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I've done it on my channel.
Mm.
But I don't know if his book, if you'd be interested in this book. I would, I don't know. I have it though. But yeah,
Okay.
I could learn. I have to learn more about them, and even I didn't even watch the whole thing, all those shows. I was doing other
Mm.
things in between. I was working on the website and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I mean, it's good. It's good to know them. It's good to know them, and how they operate, and it makes you a little bit more clever, I think, and makes you, I don't know. I feel like they're more devious, and that there's something more. I think that there's like a brightness there that's not in mainstream society. I think there's an American brightness there. Like if you think about it, there's definitely something very political in these four connected cults, and it's secretive and it's quiet, but it is Freemasonry. It is Jewish, and it's American, like, just kind of this like with Mormonism, it was, America's the new Zion. With Jehovah's Witness, it was kind of like the British American Empire is the devil, and with uh, Adventists, it was that kind of like Britain is going to take over, or the Catholic Church is the devil, and British prophecy, American prophecy, and Christian Science had, British Israelism, and also, yeah, British Israelism, things like that. It's just, it, it's, there are these new religions that are more modern, and which their politics are more modern. And so there's a relevancy there, and they're also growing, and they affect culture disproportionately to their numbers. So they
In
have,
what way?
well, there's so few of them, yet the whole world knows about them. And like Jehovah's Witnesses have changed the law, and they've made it so you can become a conscientious objector to war and not get involved in war, and you don't have to salute the flag, and and things like that. And
Mm-hmm.
that's
Well, I mean, I think that there is a kind of progressive revelation in that, it's like, you got the cart and horse that is Judaism, and then you got this sort of unwieldy machine that is broken down, and then you have Islam, and then you've got all these other little cults that haven't quite taken off. But by examining their construction, um, we can work out their appeal and why they broke down. I mean, with Mormonism, it's easy to work out, I guess. It's the first white American religion, and I guess its creator would be pleased, thinking, well, we're just immigrants and not that many of many white people. If we use polygamy as a method of going forth and multiplying, we would soon properly people the whole of America. And, I suppose at the time it seemed a reasonable idea, except that the pesky Christians didn't like polygamy because they didn't want to be outcompeted by these polygamists when they were monogamists, monogamous. So I guess, well, the competition was overturned. But we see Islam just comes around and says, yes, we will allow a bit of polygamy, but not too much, mind you, and we're going to give you, you know, restrictions. We're not going to say absolutely not. You can have up to four, but you have to be fair to them, and you have to be able to support them, and this means you have to be quite wealthy to support them, and you can't, there are all these safeguards in Islam that maybe don't exist in Mormonism.
Yeah, well, they got rid of polygamy, which was dumb, and except for the fundamentalist sects that still practice it. It's like even in Mormonism, I've seen like the thing is that like it's like there's these old doctrines like and these things will never change, and then it changed, and yeah, when you get into like old school, like hardcore Mormonism, it's real based and fucked up and right wing and like racialist and, you know, that kind of stuff. But, oh, don't forget my blog, whitemormonism.blogspot.com,
Mm-hmm.
um, where I discuss using Mormonism as
As what?
using Mormonism as a white Mormonism, like a white version of Mormonism. That if you have to get involved in something, instead of going into Islam and being subsumed by that culture, like use Mormonism, which is more closely linked to something Western. You know what I mean?
But you can
And
infuse
I
Islam with Western values. It's really not that
I know,
hard.
but
I mean,
no, but Islam is going to deracinate white people. It's going to make us inadvertently more Asiatic because the dominant culture of Islam is Asiatic and African.
yeah, Teo obviously didn't agree with you when you said um, white people were more polytheistic because they were more cooperative because
Yes,
it was in their
yes.
nature. And I noticed he had a good chuckle about that because, well, well, it's not really true because if you think of all the wars Christians had with each other since the
That was when they
Reformation.
became That's when they became monotheists. I'm saying is that yeah, we became infected with that virus, and we're not totally immune from it, but we're also breaking away from it faster, or in a better sense, than the dark people are. And also, when Muhammad came on the scene, Christianity was an option. There was nothing stopping the people from becoming Christian. But the thing is that they needed something a little bit more monotheistic and harsh than that would actually, basically break down all the idols around it. And they wanted something more monotheistic. And yes, they made something more monotheistic than what was available, which was Christianity. Christianity wasn't Noahide enough for them. So, they made something a little bit more extreme.
Well, I think the problem is really under this classification of idolatry, the only two religions in the world that God, if he exists, might approve of is Judaism and Islam, because the story is that he revealed the Torah to Muhammad and the Quran to uh, the Torah to Moses and the Quran to Muhammad, and therefore, since they're from him, he's all right with Judaism and Islam, who rely on his revelation, and all the rest, would be considered idolatry to the Abrahamic God.
Look,
And I mean, okay, the long and short of it, this is that, okay, so you don't want to think of God in existence. So we have to consider the harm that we might cause ourselves for just non-superstitious reasons which are nothing to do with our afterlife. And I'm saying if you don't have an official handbook then you won't follow your religion for long, and you'll just make up shit as you go along, and that means that your religious identity will be lost. We can think of the Southern Baptists, we can think of the Mormons, and even Jehovah's Witnesses. You just mentioned that they've changed their name a few times, so they're not they're not steady in their identity. It's an unstable identity. It keeps changing. And obviously the identity that doesn't change retains its integrity and is more respected, and I guess
Well, then
it continues to
that's
have
what
the
I'm saying.
advantage over everyone.
Look, all these disgusting white straight men need something to get involved in, and just if you go back to old Mormonism, then it retains its identity. Just make it just amongst yourselves reobtain the identity. But Louis, what's his name?
Wayne.
Louis Wayne was into the book of he made a meme that seemed pro-Mormon and like that it was defending white people, and he said he was reading the Book of Mormon, and I assumed he was getting interested in it, but he recently made a meme which I saved of the Book of Mormon coming from the devil. So he told me that the Book of Mormon came from the devil. He told me directly, and
Oh, because he's a Trinitarian.
he's a what?
He's a Trinitarian Christian.
Oh, he is.
That's what I remember him telling me when I asked him.
Yeah, no, I mean, he said that it came from the devil and whatever. Just do something. So I support them using Mormonism because of its materialistic God. It's material God. You know what I mean? It's it's this reality. It's in this reality. God is in this reality. So
And you think the Mormons are doing okay because of those drama documentaries you saw with all these rich Mormon people, couples?
yes, yeah. I mean, the Mormon, yes, the Mormon Church. But okay, but the one thing that you might like, or I know Stephen J. James says he likes about them, but you might think is that I told you about, I did tell you about Jack Mormons already, but you know that Jack Mormons are not allowed inside the temple, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jack Mormons, they can go to a claptrap, whatever it's called, not claptrap, but one of the more the not so luxurious, nice halls. It's not a temple. The temples are beautiful and ornate and carved and all this other kind of stuff. But the regular meeting houses are just regular, and you can go there anytime. But if you want to get in, basically, it is if you want to get into a higher realm of heaven, you have to follow the rules, and so there's extra incentive to follow the rules, and also that kind of like makes it so that the leadership of the church stays rather strict, even if maybe the congregation is not doing so well. The leadership, obviously, if you're going to be an elder, you have to be able to do temple ordinance, and it's a way of kind of keeping things in line where you have like a caste system, right? But the thing is that the caste system in Mormonism, I don't think that it's imposed physically, but it is imposed spiritually. I would have to see I'm trying to discover if there's any kind of theocracy to Mormonism, and there seems to be pseudo theocracy in its early history. But I don't know if there's let's say laws of Mormonism. Okay, what is this? Okay. Mormon rules, full list and complete guide, do's and don'ts. So let's see what this is. Let's see. What are Mormon rules? Mormon faith, like all Christian religions, has rules. Blah blah blah. Some of the most important Mormon rules include keep the Sabbath day holy by attending church and refraining from work and recreational activities, paying tithe or donating 10% of one's income to the church, abstaining from alcohol, tobacco, and illicit drugs, living a chaste life, which includes abstinence from premarital sex and adultery, being honest in all dealings with others, keeping the word of wisdom, which includes abstaining from coffee and tea. Okay, Mormon rules on food and drink. Meat and fish can be eaten, but it should be consumed sparingly. Mormons are encouraged to eat a diet rich in fruits, vegetables, and whole grains, which are staples of healthy eating. Caffeine is not explicitly prohibited, but Mormons are advised to avoid drinks that are high in caffeine, such as coffee and tea. Soft drinks, including cola, are generally accepted as long as they are not consumed in excess. Alcohol is strictly forbidden. This includes beer, wine, spirits. Tobacco is prohibited. Smoking, vaping, and other forms of tobacco use are not allowed. Mormons are encouraged to practice moderation in all forms of living, including their diet. They are taught to avoid excess to be mindful of their consumption of food and drink. Taking care of one's body, healthy living. Mormon rules on dress and appearance. Men should wear clean and pressed dress shirts, ties, and dress pants to church meetings and other formal occasions. Suits and jackets are also encouraged. Women should wear dresses or skirts that cover the knee and are not form-fitting. Blouses and tops should not cover the shoulders and not be revealing. It is recommended that women wear hosiery and closed-toe shoes. Earrings are allowed for women, but only modest set. Men should not wear earrings. Tattoos and body piercings other than one set of earrings for women is discouraged. Hair should be clean and well groomed. Okay, this just doesn't matter. Mormon rules on sex and relationship. Mormonism places a strong emphasis on the importance of sexual purity and abstinence before marriage. Sexual behavior is considered sacred and should be reserved for marriage between man and woman. Mormons believe that sexual feelings are a natural and normal part of human nature, but that they should be used in accordance with God's commands. Before marriage, physical intimacy is strictly forbidden. This includes kissing, touching, and any other form of sexual activity. Once married, sexual relations are considered an important part of the marriage relationship and encourage a means to strengthen the bond between husband and wife. It is also important to note that the Mormons believe in the sanctity of marriage and the importance of fidelity. Adultery and infidelity are strictly forbidden and can result in disciplinary action from the church. When it comes to dating relationships, Mormons believe in the importance of courtship and taking the time to get to know someone before committing to a relationship. Dating is encouraged as a means of learning how to interact with others, make friends, and practice respect and courtesy. Oh, that's Jehovah's Witnesses have to date in groups. Like, let's say that you would have to go out with, you have to have a chaperone to go out on a date with another. You can't go out alone. You need a chaperone. Oh, so these are a lot of entertainment and Sabbath day observances. Okay, well, I mean, it has, health, sexual regulation, dietary, it has something. Enough to get people like interested. These guys, you can't interest them in anything. They're just like such deadheads. They're not serious about anything. Are you there,
No.
Claire?
Yes, yes, I was to agree that these people well, have no standards, really.
No, they have no standards, and they're gross. They're just gross out.
They have no standards because they have no religion. And that's the problem. I'm getting a little tired, and I might tune in on the Morgoth thing. I don't know. It's supposed to be the highlight of Millennium. And
Okay.
he's a cultural critic or something.
Okay, you're gonna go watch?
I might sort of half listen or something. So
Okay.
that's what I'll go and do. Any last words?
No, just interesting that you're interested in Jehovah's Witnesses, and I don't know if I have anything else I have to look into on them. And we've talked about Mormonism and Christian Science. The only ones that I really want to know more about are Seventh-day Adventists.
Well, that would be Luke Ford. I hope you can, well, maybe persuade him to grace your channel with his.
Oh, yes, I can. I emailed Omar. Let's see if he gets in touch with me.
Well, I hope you watched the whole of the thing. I thought it was quite a good interview, and he sounded like a liberal, which I thought was also interesting. And he called me a fascist in the end. But well, I mean, if you're interested in watching the highlights of it, that's all.
Okay, yeah, maybe I'll go watch it now.
Okay, then. Talk to you again before too long.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.